Welcome, everyone. Good evening. We are here, DeFi Angels and Serenity Token. This is a wonderful project that we have the pleasure of having on our platform. Some really great innovation going on with what they're looking to do in terms of DeFi, its talent, and what an agency would be able to provide and what that really looks like. My name's Michael. I'm the president of the company. I'm really excited right now to have them here with us in their community. So welcome one, welcome all. So we'll go ahead and kick it off. The team of Serenity Token, feel free to begin introducing yourselves, talking about yourselves individually, and we can really kick this thing off.
Cool. I guess I'll kick it off. I'm Will, or Onion, on Telegram. There's my ugly mug and my giant headphones. So I've been working in technology for about 15 years. My daytime job is I'm a DevOps engineer, which is kind of like a very special kind of software engineer that more deals with infrastructure and automation versus just writing software code. I've been in crypto for about a year. I've worked on other project teams before this. This is my first time being a founder in a crypto project or a company for that matter. But my role on the team is to run the technology and provide strategic support and set up and maintain these complex business deals that we are engaged in. So that's a bit about me. Thanks.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tambari. I am from Washington, D.C. I went to Hampton University, graduated Cornell. Marketing is my specialty. I used to work at Capitol Hill as a marketing coordinator, but now I'm full-time as the marketing director in Serenity. What can I say? It's not always about one Lambo or one Bugatti, but one life and one mental health, right? We're in this space to really bring not just crypto, but wholeness, right? Bring oneness. I'm more of the person who really likes to interact with the core, members and people out of, getting to know people. That's what Serenity really is. So, that's a little bit about me, but yeah.
Hey everyone, I'm Harley, I'm 22. I'm the socials lead for I live in Nevada. I'm from California originally. I've been in the crypto space for a little over a year now. My buddy D down there, he got me into crypto right when dropped back in and I'm still riding that. I still have a bag in St. Thomas. So we went through this phase where there's a lot of anime coins coming out. There was a lot of rugs, and I wasn't a few rugs being my buddy Dion. So he came to me with this idea about Serenity, and once I met the team, Tambari and Will, they're such genuine people, and I couldn't ask for a little about me. I'm sorry I'm cutting out.
Yeah.
Yeah, short down a little bit. I'm in echo. Hey guys,
I'm gonna leave, come back.
Okay. Hey guys, I'm Dion. I'm 22. I'm the creative lead here at Serenity right now. Before Serenity was doing Dash and Uber Eats. After doing Serenity, it's changed my life, and I'm able to do Serenity full time and actually put that in care that when we started this into fruition. Started in St. Thomas back when we first started off, and if you got in back July, right now. So yeah, it's been a journey, and then like Harley was saying, I did crypto anime coin phase, and that was horrible, but that's just a little bit about me, guys.
Perfect. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you. Also, Tambari went to Cornell University for marketing. I think we should throw that in there as well.
I did catch that. Catch that.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
You're still a little spotty. But so moving forward, I definitely appreciate you guys opening yourselves up. I think the fact that you guys outright have that docs, I think that's one of the reveal, that's one of the most unique characteristics of the team, right? You guys have your specialties in different aspects that allow you to leverage one another's skill set in order to create what is Serenity Token. And it shows, it comes through. So why don't you walk me through, how did the team come together, and how did Serenity Token come to be born?
So 3 of us on the core team met. We were co-investors in another project, and initially met through that community, and through the friendships that we developed there, started investing in new project launches and buying into other projects together. And we went through this series of rug pulls, being involved in token launches from incompetent teams that didn't know how to sustain a chart or run a project properly. One was a honeypot, and I got fed up one night and started talking with Dion about how we could start and run a project properly that would not be a rug pull, that would not be a scam, that would not be executed poorly. And that was really the first time that we started brainstorming about the idea. And he came up with the word Serenity, and it was just a rough idea at that point. And that's a real quick overview of how we started out.
That's great. It seems that a lot of projects in this DeFi space really, you end up meeting the right people. It's synchronistic, right? It's almost as if it was designed to be that way, to make these connections that allow for you to make something unique and innovative. So I know that for Serenity Token, who came up with the idea of like a DeFi talent agency? Do you guys have experience in talent agencies, and what inspired this particular avenue that you guys are choosing to go down?
So it can start in several ways, right? Dion himself is an artist. I'm an artist myself, even besides, having marketing background. But it's the fact that, art is depictive, right? It doesn't really have a forte or a name towards it, whether it's music, whether it's, comedy, whether it's painting, or, composition in general. I've had experience, in the limelight, getting to know artists, getting to know record labels, and understanding the value of artists, right? The value of artists and ownership, and really giving them value and sustainability, right? So, of course, we all knew that this space is missing that. And Dion had a great idea. It was just like, there needs to be a piece. There needs to be value. There needs to be ownership, towards artists, towards entrepreneurs. And we said, why not have us? Like, if we wanted to run a project, how would we run it? If we wanted to establish integrity and understand loyal consumers, how would that look like? Hence is the reason why we created Serenity. Hence is the reason why we thought out of the box and not just an average use case. How can real life people really use this?
Well, and to supplement what Tambari said, if you look at the way that art integrates with crypto in general, just read the news. People call it a scam. People call it a ripoff. People don't believe in it. Artists get their work stolen. People copy JPEGs and sell them as NFT collections. There's a lot of illegitimacy in the NFT and the crypto creative sector. So that's one issue that needs to be addressed by somebody. I'm not saying we're going to fix that ourselves, but we're certainly trying to forge a path towards legitimacy for art and crypto. And the other very specific experience that I had, I was involved in an NFT collection project that was creating an NFT collection for charity. And the idea of the project was to source art from indigenous artists and create art with them, and then make NFTs from that art and use the funds raised for local charities that would help those indigenous people. And in the very first stage of that process, the team went off and started Googling art that looked like it was indigenous. And I left that project, and that left a very sour taste in my mouth about, I wanted to do something with art and bringing art into crypto, and having a legitimate process that artists can do their work, they can be appreciated, they can have their work sold and promoted competently, and they get actual financial and meaningful compensation out of that process.
Yeah, I feel that fully, man. I think that way too often, especially in today's world, we see these innovative artists, we see these creative minds in all aspects of their life, old, young, mature, immature. We see these individuals who have something special to offer, and essentially if they don't meet a specific status quo, or maybe they don't sell themselves essentially and sell, quote unquote, sell out, that beauty is lost. And being able to really showcase these individuals that have something special to offer, I think is is unique. It's something that's innovative, because there's not really a platform quite out there that provides that sense of ownership. You guys said it earlier, providing a different layer of ownership to these artists, rather than being owned by a gallery or being owned by a label. This gives them the chance to really get out there. Is there something that like kind of hits home for you guys a little bit on a deeper level for kind of handing that ownership to the artists themselves with this decentralization factor? Does anyone on the team, or do multiple members of the team have that kind of experience?
I've been waiting to answer this for you. So prime example is the fact that not only is he a great friend to me, a great comedian named is Rob Gordon, right? When we really say bringing artists and bringing people and outsourcing these talent, that whether you know them or whether you believe in them, and bring them to the space. He's a great comedian. He has, series, whether it's on Amazon, HBO, and he's also in the crypto. We partnered up with him and made him an ambassador. Not only him, Allie, she was in our community. She does great art. Her cousin is a great man, and he works a job every day, 9 to 5, and goes put on his boots, right? And does labor, and still comes into the community and talks about DeFi. But he believed in his cousin's art so much, promoted her, right? And we got to know Allie, got to know who she was. This is not a fabrication or whimsy story. This is real life. Got to know who she was and what she was about. And what did art mean to her? And how could it change her life, right? And guess what? Allie now is a part of the team, and she does our apparel. This is our real life use case and utility. It's not just about, when I say it again, win Lambo, it's about who are you? What can you bring into this space? And what's unique about you and your unique potential? That's what means a lot to me. The fact that she's able to express her art, the fact that not only is this great comedian, my brother, able to express his art towards a different crowd, but also for those that don't know about crypto. Now, when they see Rob and see what he's doing, he's standing for something that is way bigger than just the DeFi. He's standing for solidarity and standing for a cause. When I always talk about your what and why. So
and to throw in the last example, we have an artist named Mike from Australia who is, over the last 2 months, he's produced 180 custom pieces of art that will go into our first NFT collection called the Calm Buddhas. And when we sell these NFTs, Mike is getting 20% of the profit. There's 4 people on our team, so if we split it 4 ways, it'd be 25%. If we had 5 people, he would get a 20% cut. That's what I mean by fair. And our goal is to give Mike, he has a wife, he has a son, he has a daughter that's on the way. He works as an electrician 50 hours a week, and his dream is to be an artist. And my very real, and I don't mean this in like a flowery or a metaphysical way. I mean, our goal is to free Mike up to do his art so that he can create things for a living, and be compensated fairly for the effort that he puts in.
No, I totally understand that. I think too often in this world we have everything essentially telling us what our value is instead of establishing our value. Before I went full time in crypto, this might be a little too much information, but before I went full time crypto, I was working a part time job while I finished nursing school, and I came to this realization of like, working for 3 hours and making $24 in those 3 hours wasn't worth it because I'm worth more than that. And I have a close friend of mine that is an artist, and she knows what her art is worth to her. And I mean, there are many people, there's one in particular on our committee that's a fantastic artist. He produces some wonderful music. And ultimately, it's about where he can be valued. So I really think that providing a platform that allows artists to really establish what they perceive their own value as is something that isn't out there, from musicians to painters, regardless of the medium. It's about being able to have the opportunity to establish what your worth is. So with that, I heard you kind of throw some numbers out there. He's getting a 20% cut on the NFT collection, so the rest of the team's getting their 20% cut. When the NFTs are being sold and the collections are selling out, is that money going to the team's pockets? Is part of it going back to the token? Is it going to these charities? How is the team making their money? Where's the skin in the game for them?
So on the NFT sales, 20% goes to the artist, 30% goes towards buyback for the token. So we have a special wallet that's just for buyback and burning tokens. So that is the way that the NFT sales directly benefit the token holders. And then the other 50% is for reinvestment into development and marketing or profit for us.
Gotcha. So where do the charities come into play here?
All right, so that's getting more into our tokenomics. That's not tied into the NFT sales themselves, but the tokenomic rundown for the Serenity token is a 15% total tax. 1% of that tax is for charity. That goes to a special wallet that's just for that purpose. 7% of the tax is for dev and marketing. That goes to a second wallet. And then 4% of the tax is for buyback, and that goes to a third wallet. And 3% is for a token reflect to holders. So when you add all that up, it's a 15% tax.
Okay. So when coming up with the tokenomics, this is a more of a two-part question. So one, why did you guys choose Ethereum to launch on? And two, why did you come up with the tokenomics that you specifically have?
Okay, interesting question. So I mean, we all invest in Ethereum anyway. I've only traded Ethereum. I know of Binance Smart Chain. I know of like Polygon, and other blockchains, but I have the most experience in Ethereum, and I've been in on project teams that were on Ethereum, and I think it's probably the best blockchain for serious trading, as opposed to like BSC. I don't have anything against BSC. That's not where we launched, and so how do I explain our tokenomics? So in the first 2 weeks, we've raised $40,000 for charity. We had our community nominate themselves a list of charities that we will be donating equal portions of that money to. The 4% buyback tokenomics, we've done 45 ETH in buybacks. We have 20 ETH left behind that for buybacks. We've burned 3.5% of the token supply. I think these tokenomics, they were engineered to be sustaining for the chart, to be actually helpful to the world through the charity tokenomic, and to provide a way for us to help manage the stability of our chart over the long term.
And
Let me add, we don't have any tokens ourselves. We collect it all in ETH sent to a multi-sig.
Okay, so did you guys, so knowing that you guys aren't collecting like tokens for yourself, or you didn't have a team allocation of tokens, did you guys buy in on your own launch?
No.
we did not.
Is there a particular reason why?
Well, if you look at a company that the executives own a bunch of stock and then the company performs well and then they dump the stock and the chart takes a crap, that's what we're trying to avoid, both in reality and in appearance. We don't want to be selling our own chart ever.
Correct. So we made that decision before, like even before we launched Serenity, it was about 3 months of preparation that we made sure we got our LLC, that we made sure we were fully doxxed, that we did everything right. So people wouldn't have to access it was just a rollout, you know. My father always says, he's a foreign man from Nigeria, you know, when you're always prepared, you don't have to get prepared. So it's one of those things where we looked at all our T's and crossed them effectively, right? Looked at how could we, you know, meet our goals, meet our trajectory, and then still at the same time understand what our demographic is going to be, and effectively, like, you know, educate people at the same time while we're getting there, you know. So
yeah, and just to go over some of the fundamentals, some of the technology, some of the design of the project. We didn't have a pre-sale round. We didn't have a private sale round. The initial cost for developing the art, for marketing the launch, for liquidity for the launch was put in by the team. It was a completely fair launch. Our smart contract was done by Trinos, who is a very well-known and skilled Solidity developer. We are underway getting an audit by CertIC. We've been onboarded by them. We're on their website. It takes a while. It's not quite done yet. All of our team funds, like Tambari mentioned, they are deposited into our wallets in Ethereum, so there's no tokens, and they are Gnosis safe multi-sig wallets. We have 4 people on our core team, and it takes 3 people to sign off for any transactions. So that really serves 2 purposes. 1, nobody is running off with ETH, and 2, when we make a purchase, there has to be a legitimate majority on vote on the team to make that spend. And we were also we did a KYC with a company called Assure DeFi before we launched. That's available on our website as well. They have a special NFT that they created for us. And like Tambari mentioned, we formed an LLC company called Serenity Token LLC in Nevada. You can go on the Nevada state website and search it. All 4 of our names are on there. We all have 25% of that company. And so that's some of the design of the project and some of the safeguards that we've created.
Liquidity locked for a year as well.
correct.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely see where you cross those T's. So for your LLC, kind of walk me through that. Whose idea was it for the LLC? You know, why did you choose to go about forming an LLC? And what is the scalability into real world?
So the LLC serves 2 main purposes in my mind. Number 1, I've been on crypto projects before that either didn't have a company behind them or had a company that was a sole proprietorship owned by one person who had full, you know, authority over funds. And I've been screwed on financial deals that I made working for projects. And so my motivation coming into this project was to make sure that the guys on the team and myself, that there would never be any impropriety around who gets paid and how much they get paid. You know, we all have an equal cut in whatever, you know, if we make $5, the team gets $1.25 each. And the second thing is, for what we're trying to do with the talent agency, we have to license art. We have to hold contracts with artists. We have to hold contracts with developers. And we need a legal vehicle to do that. And so the company is not really an option for this kind of project.
I second ditto. And just with me, you know, I work from, you know, I come from a background, whether it's working from Capitol Hill or working at a Line Hotel, whether it's corporate, right? There's a standard of professionalism and the way you execute things, right? So if you have an organization, or say you have, you know, a group of people you want to represent, you want to do it structurally, you want to do it soundedly, you want to do it with a sense of direction. And I feel like having a business and having rules and regulations and also accountability holds it holds integrity, right? So you go to Apple or you go to Gucci or whatever store it may be that you like, because they know they have that name, they have that integrity, they have that loyalty that comes behind them. So any organization, especially within this space, that you know, especially when working with different lobbyists and congressmen, like however you think about regulation, you should also want to always think about that in the long term. Like, even if it doesn't happen, if it does happen, what is my organization ready for that? Would we be ready for that? And how does it look like? So it's always, like I said, to be overly prepared than to not be prepared, right? So that's the reason, though, guys.
And we have a payroll that we're setting up. We have charitable donations that we're giving out in actual dollars. These are not in Ethereum. The Ethereum that's in that charity wallet is going to be converted into fiat currency in a business account that has full legal and accounting oversight on it, and paperwork, and all of these steps that are necessary for any actual business to operate. So yeah, I think it's important to point out that this is not just a project. This is a business.
And we do have he's great. His name is Eris. He's a part of the team. He's my brother as well. Our team is so, our team is rooted from a structure of family, but a work ethic that is beyond belief, right? Anything that you want in life, you have to work for it. It's not given to you. And it takes a lot of hard work and dedication. It also takes preparation, right? So it's certain steps that we lay the line to want to execute something. You have a dream. So actions. So my dad used to say this as well. Faith without action falls on deaf ears. And I think that's also a line, So it's just like you have to put those two things together.
Yeah, I like it. It sounds like your father is definitely a man of wisdom, and loves to spread that wisdom. And that's earlier we talked about, through education you create empowerment, and it really sounds like there was a lot of empowerment that goes behind the creation of this project for these artists. I'll ask one last question, and then I'll open it up for other people to have questions. I'm sure there are tons of questions about this. So for Tambari, your experience on Capitol Hill, can you walk me through that experience on Capitol Hill, what exactly it is that you were doing and how that's being integrated into Serenity Token?
So I was working in Capitol Hill as a marketing coordinator. My everyday life was, meeting different people, talking to them, having different meetings, whether it was lobbyists and different congressmen, and just, building. One of a good friend that I have is John Curley. He worked at the blockchain, talks about different, things, whether pertaining towards crypto, and me having different insights of knowing how, one, again, right, when it comes towards marketing in this space, people, when they hear marketing, they hear different influencers. When I hear marketing, I hear grassroots. When I used to work for Greenpeace, in order to market with someone, you have to get to know them. There's a relation, you can say a relation deficit, right? So you can't say this is a great organization without getting to know the owners, right? Can't say this is a great project without you getting to know the face of the project. So when it comes towards marketing, you can't say, okay, cool. What ways are you going to market? Are you going to do it word of mouth? Do you want to do advertisement, or do you want a commercial, right? There's several ways to go. So with me having this experience, whether it's in hospitality or marketing, brings it a different demographic. Hence the reason why I said before, we're actually bringing these artists when people ask about use case and utility, because it's an organization and we're looking at the long term and the longevity of things, right? By bringing people in, by being able to find what's unique about them and exploiting that to the highest potential for them, right? Because that's what we're here for. Bringing out the best in you, being able to bring this vibration on a different platform. Marketing is not just one YouTube or one Lambo. It's about one life. When can you touch somebody that what you've done, they can be able to go tell? That's the biggest marketing, word of mouth, believe it or not. So that's a little bit. That's what I bring to it.
I love it. Any opportunity to really get in a room with people in real life to really touch them and really connect with them is one of the greatest things we can do for our industry, especially being at such a ground floor level. Hats off to the Serenity Token team. Hats off to y'all for all of your individual skill sets and converging in one place to be able to really provide something for artists. I don't want to hog up the entire AMA, so I'm going to go ahead and take a step back and let the rest of the community kind of start stepping in and asking the questions that they have.
Awesome. Perfect. Hi, everyone. This is Taylor. I've been over here just waiting to ask questions. So great job explaining the project. I'm understanding it. So the first thing I want to dive into really is around the, let's say we start with the current artists that you're working with. I think I want to understand like what industries that you're focusing on and maybe a current roster that you've acquired yet and kind of what the forecast looks like of bringing on these new artists.
Sure. So there's 2 artists that we mentioned, and a third artist ambassador. The first is Mike, our NFT artist from Australia. He does digital and visual art. Maybe we can share some previews of the Kombudas. We have a collection coming out in a couple weeks here. The second is Ali, who's doing our apparel and merchandise and some digital art for the website and some other digital art pieces for promotion and things like that. She is part of the team, so it's a little bit different in the way that it's set up there. And the third is Rob Gordon, who is a comedian and actor, entertainer, and he is our ambassador and will be helping promote the project and also doing some original creative work with us as well.
Sweet, good. Okay, so when these artists come on, I want to move into rev streams, right? So I understand that you're basically acting as the talent agency. Now, how does it work for, say, an investor, right? So let's say I don't have any talent and I'm just an investor in the project. Other than what reflections, right, and things that we would accrue there, the 3%. Is there any other rev streams that tie back and move into the actual liquidity pool to increase, maybe that liquidity in the project, or is it going straight in fiat to the bank account for the business?
Well, I think if you look at our liquidity pool, it's actually quite thick. Because we did a fair launch and there was no pre-sale, the liquidity ratio to market cap has been a consistent like 25 to 35%, which is extremely thick for a project this young. So I don't know that there needs to be any dynamics that feed back into liquidity, because that liquidity is locked and the ratio is kind of set at this point. And as we grow, that liquidity ratio will probably maintain about the same level. As far as how holders benefit, the buyback is also a mechanism that benefits holders. We were originally thinking about doing raw Ethereum reflections rather than token reflections, but injecting Ethereum into that kind of mechanism would just not provide the kind of rewards that people are looking for. So rather, we went with having a raw buyback and burn mechanism, which we've invested 40 ETH into at this point to stabilize the chart and keep it healthy.
Okay, copy that. And yeah, I guess I'm trying to figure out ways that, like, say, a holder, right, would make money other than just those reflections. And I guess buybacks would, increase the chart of the price. And typically when you're adding more to the LP, it just, assures investors that, price stability and, volatility at that kind of is less, right, on price impact by having more. But anyways, onwards and forwards, that answers my question good enough. I see that you formed LLC out of, looks like Reno, right? So Nevada. What made you choose Nevada? We have an LLC here in the US and we're in Wyoming. So not, every state is obviously different. Just curious about, what brought you to Nevada and what your plans are there.
So half of the team lives in Nevada. Dion and Harley are local to that state. Tambar and I live in Washington, D.C. And part of that was just the fact that we wanted a state that was local to one of us that we live in, to simplify the operation of the company. And Nevada has good state tax laws for companies. And Nevada, additionally, when you register an LLC, it's not anonymous. So our names are on the Nevada state website. And that was an important point for me that I wanted as a feature for our LLC.
Absolutely.
Got it. Yeah. And there's other states like Montana and other ones that provide like those privacy laws. So everybody, and I always like to ask that question to find where the entrepreneur's head's at, right? When you're creating your startup, where are you looking and why? And a lot of formations out of states will tell you a lot, whether it's Delaware and so forth. So appreciate that insight. And kind of moving in on that point, what were the capital contributions to start the company, or were they all, would you say, raised from the token itself and volume?
So the startup cost for the project was probably I don't remember the exact spot price of ETH every time we paid money, but it was probably about $40,000 to $50,000, and that came from the team.
Okay.
Correct.
So okay, got it. And that's what you guys seated in. Okay. And so the majority of the funds right now are okay. Just let me back up. Is anything moving to your current LLC bank account that you have? Do you have any money that you transitioned out of crypto into fiat?
No, the only funds that will be converted to fiat at this point are the charity funds, and then those will be dispersed, cent for cent to charitable causes.
Okay, got it. And that comes out of the actual volume. Okay. And so I guess my question around the charities would be, how do you select them, right? Is it like community based, or is it certain ones that you've already identified? Go ahead.
It's community based. So we let the communities pick the charities that they want. And so we let them vote in the best ones, and that's how we, come to the conclusion.
Yeah, and actually one of the charities that's on our list is run by a good friend of a DeFi Angel member named Justin Haley. It's a food bank in Georgia. We are going to donate, I don't know the exact number. I think it's 5,000 or 7,000 to that food bank. One of them is an org called Claws and Paws, which is an animal rehabilitation center in Connecticut, which is again owned and operated by a friend of one of our investors. There is a school in Nigeria that Tambari's father is going to help with some of those funds. There is an organization that's local to DC, Maryland, Virginia area called the House Rabbit Society that I volunteer with and do animal rescue work for. So there's a lot of causes that we have nominated that are very close to us. And then there are causes like the Child Welfare League, NAMI, which is a mental health organization, Save the Children, the Special Olympics, Girls Who Code, and a couple others. But yeah, so these were all driven by our community through a nomination process.
Cool. So, obviously being on, I would say both sides of what we have, like Michael calls it the real world, but traditional, business, right? And then you have crypto. So I'm on those same sides, right? So have you guys locked in legal counsel, lawyers to help you kind of understand some of the language around, having capital and moving it to USD and what that looks like?
So one of the guys on our team that Tambari mentioned briefly, his name is Eris. He is a business owner for, I think, over 30 years now. He runs a pharmacy in New Jersey and has helped us a lot with getting the accounting set up, getting the legal framework set up for the funds pipeline from crypto to a business bank account. What kind of paperwork you have to file at the end of the year, what kind of deductions you can make. So yeah, we have legal and accounting representation that are helping us with this process.
Yeah. And then obviously making, donations is very good for tax write-offs at the end of the year. So I'm assuming that would probably be filed under the LLC, obviously, because it's fiat, correct?
Absolutely.
Gotcha. Okay. Copy that. Got it. Okay. I'm going to pause for a minute. I'm definitely going to have a couple more questions, but I can keep teeing off. I would like to open it up for our committee and our team a little more. Go ahead, guys.
Thank you for your questions, Taylor.
I'm coming back. Don't worry. Thank you for answering.
Hi, I'll jump in. How you guys doing?
Hey, David.
Hey, David.
Doing good, David. Thank
Oh,
you.
we got a chance to chat, brother.
I appreciate you guys being here. I have a few questions. First of all, just working off the white paper and doing a callback to Taylor's revenue stream question. Part of the revenue stream, according to the white paper, is for establishing relationships with new artists. How do you price that? What are the expenses for establishing relationships? What exactly does that mean?
Well, so the art for the NFT line cost about $7,000, if that's the question that you're asking.
Just to mint or to
no,
buy
just
the rights?
Just the productive process. Our team partnered with the artist and created the art as a collaboration. So it was a back and forth process with payment for that labor, and then in addition to the profit sharing.
So so that's a perfect segue to my next question then. Well, I'll make it my next question thanks to you. The artists are getting 20% in profit sharing.
Correct. Yeah, and whether it's our first partnership is a straight up visual NFT collection, which is probably the most basic way to translate art into crypto sales. But we also have plans to we're creating a platform for NFTs where we can kind of scale up our idea to an industrial level, and rather than partnering and collaborating intensively with artists one by one, we would switch to vetting artists and giving them access to self-publish on our platform. So that's one idea that we have that we're it's a long-term development effort. It's probably going to take about 5 to 7 months before that's ready. And another idea we had is to do kind of some metaverse centric events, whether it's like a live show in the metaverse where we sell tickets, or some kind of performative experience. But there are different ways to create revenue with.
So you're not in terms of the artist profit sharing. It's not always going to be an 80-20 split. Then?
No, it will be. It will be that percentage is constant.
Okay, real world art galleries never take more than 50% for two-dimensional art. That's usually where it's capped. 80%.
And real world talent agencies or record labels take far more than that. They buy the rights and produce the work, and then they sell it, and the artist gets like 2% if they're good.
Well, record labels and art in the art world are two different things. We know the traditional music industry is exploitative of artists. But okay, so you're somewhere on the spectrum between a label and an art gallery with 80% commission. This is Web3. Let's move this forward for artists and give them the 80%. You guys take the 20%.
Well, and we're not taking 80%. We're taking max. We would take 50%. 30% goes straight into buyback for token holders.
Oh, okay. But the artist still gets only 20%, right? Max.
Yes. And like I said earlier, that figure was arrived at by doing the basic math on 100 divided by 5, as if they were on the team for that endeavor.
So when you license a work, is that a paper contract? Is that on the chain? Will the contracts with artists be also on the blockchain?
No, the contracts will be actual legal paperwork between the LLC and the artist.
Okay. All right. And my last question is, all I've heard about is NFTs, but I see singers, graphic designers, all talent. Art can be anything. So what's your vision for doing more than NFTs with this talent agency?
Sure. So just a quick overview of 2 ideas that we've had. One of them is to do a poetry-based NFT collection where we find a poet, produce a custom poem, and then have it performed by people in various styles, and make a collection of NFT performances of that poem, along with kind of information on what that style is, the performer's background, and that would be like a shared pool of profit for everyone involved in that effort. And the other idea that we've had is an NFT comic book with a comic book artist.
Okay, so eventually you would get to musicians, things like that?
Absolutely.
Would that be releasing? Would you become a label at that point?
I don't know if we would do like a traditional like album release. I don't think that's really what we're going for. It's everything that we put out should be within the crypto space somehow. So I think for music or comedy or for any kind of performance-based art, that would lean more towards like the metaverse or some kind of experiential art.
Okay. A metaverse is how would you fund building your own metaverse? That would come out of the current tokenomic structure?
Yeah, I don't think we would build a metaverse. I think we would probably buy virtual real estate in an existing world like Decentraland or the Sandbox, and build a virtual version of our community, and maybe have like a performance hall or a comedy club or something like that.
Okay, that's probably a better idea than the development cost of your own metaverse. Probably a really good time. Buy the dip on sand if you think you're going to Decentraland. That's some point.
Thank you.
It's cheap. Not financial advice. I appreciate the answers, guys. Take care. Good luck.
Appreciate you,
Thank you,
man.
David.
Thank you.
You bet.
And I appreciate anyone who's into philosophy, by the way. I know this is not crypto related, but I love philosophy. It's one of my deep hobbies. And seeing the word ontologist on a Telegram nickname made me very happy.
That's ontology, baby.
I guess I'll go if no one else is gonna go. I had a couple of questions and Taylor took them. So I wanted to touch on the governance. Now, as far as well, actually the governance and the charity. So first, as far as the charity goes, how long do you have like a timeline? Do you have a timeline for? Oh, see, I'm echoing. I don't know who's unmuted. Okay. Do you have a timeline for getting funding out to the charities that the community votes on?
Yeah, so the timeline in this first round has been restricted by the fact that there is a one-time setup process for registering a business account, which is not so easy with a crypto company. We've actually had a lot of back and forth with different banks about where we can have an account, what the parameters are for an account. So that by itself has not been a simple process, but I think we're almost done with that. Tambari and I are going to do the final setup stage tomorrow at a local bank branch here. And then from there, it's just a matter of finding a good spot value for Ethereum so that we can maximize the value of that donation. And registering for an institutional account on an exchange like Coinbase. I don't know exactly how long that will take, but yeah, those are the concrete steps that we needed to take and that we are taking to disperse those funds. And they will be sent out as soon as everything is arranged.
So would it be faster if you were to send it out as instead of fiat, if you send it out in crypto? Would that cut down the timeline?
It would, yeah, certainly. But I don't know that donating in Ethereum is what we're trying to do, or that every organization that we want to give funds to would be able to take that donation.
Okay. And then as far as the so 1% of your taxes actually goes to charity, and you said that your community votes on that. So what exactly does the governance aspect, like how does that look? Is there like a certain amount that they have to hold, or how does the voting work? Do you guys have that set up as of yet?
I mean, we just had people in our Telegram and on Twitter nominate charities that we then went back and did some vetting on. It's not like a formal DAO setup where you have to hold tokens to vote. And I guess, somebody could slip into our Telegram and nominate a charity that didn't actually hold tokens, but even that would not really bother me, to be honest.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kay. Appreciate you.
You're welcome, Tambari. Appreciate you as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Kay.
I mean, I love your energy, Tambari, always.
You know it. How the kids doing? I know they're probably like, oh, guys, it's more than crypto. We actually care. You guys are, whether you're mom, dads, uncles, you guys have life. So I appreciate you guys first and foremost for being here because you don't have to be. So thank you. Thank you first and foremost.
It's a pleasure.
Hi. I have a question for the guy who deal with the marketing. So on the marketing point of view, you have on your website, and I will quote you: for investors, we will provide a stable, safe, unique token to add to your portfolio. So on the marketing part, you tell that your token will be stable. So for people who want to earn money, what do they get if the token is stable? So your token is not stable. I look at the chart, and it's not bad at all. But I was just surprised by this.
Well, it's stable in the sense that we're not. It's stable in the sense that we're not rugging you, and that we're real people with real names and faces behind the project, and that if something bad were to happen from the actions of the team, people would have actual legal recourse because we're a company. We're not just a couple, dog avatars on Telegram.
Okay. For an European, so a non-native speaker, that was a bit weird to see this to be stable. So I don't know the choice of word maybe.
Yeah, and also that's a reference to our buyback mechanism. So we have the ability to buy tokens and burn them to raise the floor value of the chart. If let's say someone that holds 2% of our tokens does a massive sell, and the chart tanks by 5%, we can actually buy those tokens back and burn them. So that's another stability mechanism that's built in.
Okay, thank you very much.
Does anyone else have any questions?
No, guys, you have tons of questions before us, so you burn most of the questions already.
Sweet. I'll go ahead and jump in. Hey guys, it's me again. So I want to move back to just the really process on the artists and how you accommodate them in terms of vetting, right? So what processes can you tell us, like if they wanted to find you, say they do graphic design in the sector or whatever it is that's crypto centric, right? I guess question part one, how do they find you? And then two, what processes do you put them through to kind of vet them to assure that they are who they say they are and they do have that proof of work? Can you kind of describe that to me?
So several ways that they can find us, right? Whether it's on our social medias, Twitter, or directly on the website that has our email that reaches all of us. And then and especially with the artists, whatever art that they have, we get to know them first and foremost, right? So it's a process with getting to know the artist, who you are, your background. So there is a 90-day probation period with every artist that we do get to know. We have this not just your regular interview, because we really want to get to know who you are and make sure that it's you and that's your art. And then afterwards, once we have come to an equilibrium, I should say, that's when we move to the next step, which means, okay, cool. We'll see what type of art do you want to bring into the space? How do you want to format it? Then you get to link with our personal artists, whether it's Ali or Mike, right? And then that's how the step is done. So it's not something that just snaps or it happens overnight. We have to fill you and you have to fill us out, So it's a give and take process with us.
Got it. And then so like on the productions, and maybe you answered this and I'm still wrapping my head around everything. Like, so on the productions, when an artist signs, say that they're producing content or whatever it is, that's material to sell, right? And it's making a profit. So at that point, obviously the artist is making, what is it, 30% again? And then a portion goes back to the buyback and then 50% to you guys, right?
Yeah, it's 20 to the artist, 30 to the buyback. And then the other 50 is, it can be profit, but at this stage, honestly, we are only taking enough money out of the project so that we can pay our bills and work full time on Serenity. It's not like we're taking, 40% of that 50 cut. It's probably more like 40% of that goes into paying for the NFT platform development, paying for things like the CERTIC audit, which is very expensive, paying for things like marketing and AMAs, which is also very expensive. I think for people that haven't been behind a crypto project and seen the inside of that world, it's hard to quantify how expensive it is to run a crypto project. It's very expensive.
No, yeah, and you're totally right for everybody listening. It really is. Things can start to add up quick, and that's why I'm so adamant about the movement of money and the way it works as like a holder in a lot of projects, right? Like that's obviously what we want to see is real business being done. So you bringing in these artists, they have an avenue. So as I was getting at on the production of this and when it starts actually revenuing money, right? I want to understand more of, is it kind of like we'll just use NFTs for simplicity here. Okay. So if you have a graphic artist that comes in, they design really great NFTs. So essentially you're signing that artist and saying, hey, we'll work with you. They start producing these NFTs, they start selling. Obviously they're making that 20%, right? And then all the other funds are distributed as so. Is that on a monthly basis? Do you guys sign them for X amount of time, or like what does that part look like? Because the reason why I ask is it gets really interesting as you move in and start reaching really high talents in certain places. And if you could potentially sign or lock them in for a certain amount of time to get that content, it's really advantageous for the business overall. So that's why I'm curious. So like when they come to fruition, how are you managing them, and what does the timeline of the contracts, I guess, look like?
So for the NFT collection, I think the way it's going to work is probably once a week we will disperse 20% of whatever the revenues were for that week. Obviously, it's a lot harder to do it in real time or transaction by transaction, but there will be some kind of recurring payment for that 20%. And as far as we at one point we talked to a game developer who had already started developing a game and had invested a significant amount of capital. And the way that deal would have worked is it would have been more of a 50-50 split, because we would be putting in about the same amount of capital And when it comes to like an A-list artist or a very well-known artist, I don't know that a flat 20% of revenue would cut it. I think they might want more than that, or they might want some kind of upfront, like, on a book deal, where an author gets, a lump sum payment when they start writing the book. I do think that we're not locking ourselves into this 20% model, but the example of saying 20% is just to show people that like we're actually giving the artist a fair cut of whatever the revenue is, and that spirit of that cut and that profit will always be there going forward.
Copy that. Yeah, and it's also the opportunity to be crypto centric. I guess I take it a lot of folks that come in and have these talents, maybe, right, they don't know where to go in crypto. So I guess my next question would be,
and just to throw in, part of being an agency is if we get work that outside parties need that we're not involved in, like we don't have to do the marketing or the production or the selling, we'll just hook them up with that artist, and the artist can keep all of that revenue. We're not trying to insert ourselves in every single deal that we arrange.
Okay, so there's some love there. I got you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's literally cross marketing. So basically, if we have different outsources for the artist, guess what? That's for the artist. That's the whole point why we are essentially that platform, so that artists can network with other artists that's within essentially under Serenity. Like, guess what? There might be someone who's seen Allie's work, but because they know Allie's with us, she can get that business. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's the bigger goal of it.
Absolutely.
And we're not signing any 360 deals like you see in the traditional sectors of media and agencies and labels and things like that. The only deal that we have that's exclusive is for the pieces of art that we produce. There's never any exclusivity or limiting what they can do or who they can do it for. It's really only about that particular engagement that we have with that artist.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and yeah, I think that's important too, because when I look at this, right, and I hear you talk about it, like, yeah, DeFi Talent Agency. My next question would be, is there anybody else that does this currently? Have you identified any competition?
No, I think
not
a DeFi talent agency. There's no competition.
Okay. Well, that's cool because you're first to market. That's innovation, right? So over time, there will be imitation of other projects, but being first to market is very, very important. So, cultivating kind of those relationships are going to be key in the building. So the fact that you've already signed on artists is really impressive. And to me, not only does it sound like you're really like a DeFi talent agency, crypto talent agency, however you want to word that, but also kind of a launch pad for individuals in a way, not necessarily a traditional launch pad that we see in crypto that deploys contracts and projects and things of such, but more of one as you're incubating people into this project, providing them an opportunity. So it's multifaceted. I see it. It's really interesting.
Give that boy a Lambo. Taylor, I love you, boy. You get it. You know it. You know exact. Honestly, that's the truth. That's it right there. Guess what? It's not just about projects. It's not just about this. No, it's about how can you outsource and network integrity and bring literally unique potential to other people. That's the whole cause of it, right? And that's what we've been saying. Like, Allie's on here right now. We personally talk to Allie and know what she wants to do. She has a great talent to the point anybody can see that. So why wouldn't we do that? So it's kind of like it would be the dumbest thing for us to say we're a talent agency, see this talent and not give her away. No, that's what we are. And now guess what? She has the reason to go talk and express her art however she wants to. And she's on here, by the way. Shout out to Allie.
And 2 points. So one point you brought up, I think that was really insightful, Taylor, was about competition and copycats. And in a certain perspective, we are a startup. And I've worked in technology for, 15, 20 years now. And I've worked at tech startups. And in that space, it's all about execution. It doesn't matter if you have it's not just a good idea that wins. It's a good idea plus execution, plus being first, plus being the best at it. And I honestly don't fear competition. Like, if someone wants to go out and start their own DeFi talent agency, go ahead. It's a free world, but we're going to beat you.
Oh, and can I say one more thing? Taylor, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Diversity and inclusion. When I used to work at the Line Hotel, I also, am also an ambassador for AHLA. It's the American Hotel Lodging Association. Diversity and inclusion is what we talked about a panel. I mean that. It's not just a word or a say. No, think about that. When you're able to break barriers with different ethnicities, different communities, like I told you, Rob, he's a comedian. Black History Month, to bring him into it. He's been doing crypto. We've been knowing about crypto for such a long time to actually think about this. We're going to different college tours to talk about what
can
we're
we get Rob
doing
up here,
different
by the way?
artists.
Can we get Rob up here to talk?
Yeah, he's
Rob,
unmuted. He's able to unmute and chime in.
Hey guys, what's going on? I'm actually at dinner. I was waiting. Been here waiting on y'all 30 minutes. Sorry. How's everybody doing?
Doing good, Rob. Thank you for being here.
What's going on, Serenity family? Hey, Delphi family. I am Rob Porter, comedian, actor, entrepreneur. I am one of the ambassador for Serenity Token. Extremely
We
excited.
can't hear you, Rob.
You cannot hear me?
There's some background noise.
I'm at dinner. Hello? Hello?
Hello? Yeah, I think it's the background, Rob.
I'm at dinner, guys.
Do you?
Hello? Hello?
We can hear you.
I can hear him.
Hear you a little bit, Rob. Just go ahead and say what you want to say. I think we can hear you chime in.
No, so what I was going to say is, I don't want to talk if you guys can't hear me.
Just come back later. Just finish having your dinner. Come back later if you can. But
it won't be till 11 o'clock.
we appreciate you, Rob. I'm sorry. Just go handle your business, brother. Sorry, guys. Rob. He's the ambassador. Really busy right now. He's handling business.
Right on. Yeah, we look forward to connecting with him. It sounded like he was busy, and that's fine. But just to touch on a couple points that you were closing on before that transition, diversity inclusion. You know, obviously that's something that we stand for here at the DeFi Angels, and we want to include as well. So bringing that to the DeFi space, I can just say how much I appreciate it. I think it should be brought to every vertical, and it's needed, right? Equal opportunities, right? I think everybody should have that in their lives, no matter where you come from, what you look like, and all that. So I clap my hands for you on that one. And then back to you, Onion, talking about, competition and how to really, separate yourself from that pack, right? Being the innovators in the space, being first to market. You named a few things off, but you forgot the most important thing, my friend, and that's the team here with yourself and your buddies right now. That is what I invest into. When I find strong teams that mold together and they're going to, stick together, ultimately that's the one thing that's going to bring that project success. So seeing you guys, how you work together, your docs, the passion around the project, I can tell that that's there, and it's just really cool to see. But it's something I wanted to point out, just to kind of think about when you all walk away from the call, because it's always up to you guys at the end of the day to come together and really scale the thing out, right?
Yeah. And if I can just expand on that point. So this is not just a project or a team. This is a true family. Like Tambari, Dion, Harley, these guys are my brothers. They're my partners, in business, in life. They're my friends. We spend, 10,
Will,
14, 18, 20 hours a day together.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Rob is actually, he just stepped out. He just really wanted to talk to you guys. Just let him talk right quick.
Yeah. And one thing that I have learned through working on this project and being kind of in the driver's seat of a project is that there are people who work in crypto. There are people who make a living in crypto, not necessarily on the, as developers or as artists, but Serenity itself, there are, I think, 8 to 10 people on our payroll now who are making a living working for the project. So I think there is a very real opportunity for crypto to not only make profit for investors and for the artists, but as we grow and as our financial resources grow, I want to provide a living for people. I want to provide a meaningful experience that people can engage in, that an environment where it's friendly and there's some I don't know. You get the point. Sorry. Go ahead, Rob.
I'm sorry, guys. Can you just unmute Rob for 1 minute?
Okay, I got him. 1 second. All right, Rob.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Will, amazing speech. How you guys doing? I'm Rob Gordon. I stepped out. I'm sorry. I'm at dinner with my lady. Sorry about that. But we were on a meeting earlier, and I gave my day up to be a part of everything. So, real quick, Serenity. Shouts out to my Serenity family. Everybody's here. I see everybody in the comments, or that's just a part of this whole thing. But as an artist and a part of the Serenity family, as an ambassador of the Serenity family, I think this is very, very big, because there's never been anything done like this within the space of crypto at all. I mean, you know, to be an artist, I have a special loan with Amazon. I'm in a couple of different meetings about being able to launch my own show, a sitcom, and I have a couple other projects that I can't speak about because of contractual purposes. But that will give me the opportunity and Serenity the opportunity to go to a wider view or platform. We're working on something. I shared it with the team last night. It's really, really special. I don't know if we want to let the cat out of the bag yet, but I think it'll be something that's going to actually change the game in regards to how people watch TV, and how people are actually entertained with this particular token and with the company that we have. Sorry about that. So I think that this is a major thing. I think this is everything that they're doing is extremely huge, and I'm excited to be a part of this family. Tambari is my brother. I've known Tambari for over 20 plus years. Prior to him going to Cornell and all of those amazing things, we went to Hampton together. And prior to that, I know his dad, I know his family. So, you know, this is a super amazing project. If you have not invested, you need to invest because this thing is going to the moon. Bitcoin didn't have a face. Dogecoin didn't have a face or names or people that you could pick up the phone or do an AMA with. These guys are actually in the ground, in the grassroots, doing the work and actually having meetings and being a face to the actual product and standing behind what they say that they're going to do. So I think that this is an amazing opportunity, and I'm glad to be a part of the project.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah,
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate that so much, man.
It's good to hear the testimonials always, man. You know, that's one thing that we always follow up after these and really look at with every project, and try to connect. So hearing that firsthand is good. So thanks for that, Rob. This has been great. I mean, I can probably sit here and come up with more questions. And I know I'm going to be clicking now all night and probably connecting with you guys. So the best way to get in touch is probably just through the Telegram for anybody listening and that wants to connect with you guys. Is that where you recommend that they would go?
Yeah, so there's
phone number.
There's two main ways. One is Telegram. If you go to our website and you look at our little team section, there's actually a Telegram link right there to our individual names. If you want to contact the company, which goes to all of us, it's Serenity Token LLC at serenitytoken.art. And then all of our first names, Will, Tambari, Dion, and Harley at serenitytoken.art. So you can email us, you can Telegram us. You know, our DMs are open. We're very responsive. We're very active on Telegram. We're around, you know, I work sometimes 20 hours a day on this thing. So yeah, we're here.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's good information. And I'm just thinking out loud now. I mean, do you guys have like any type of casting calls coming up? And I know you said you're securing land potentially in the metaverse, right? And like monetizing that, like live shows, like putting on things. I feel like the scalability there is pretty much endless, since kind of virtual reality is where the world is going, in my opinion. So yeah, could you touch on any of that? Is there any kind of, you know, things in the future to maybe go out and reach like these artists at mass, like hold like a big casting call, or even potentially dreams of one day hosting maybe festivals, I don't know, in the metaverse put on, right? And kind of having everybody.
Of course, definitely. There's some really cool ideas about a concert, you know, festival type of deal, the metaverse, you know, multiple ideas that we really have to get on the pen and paper and define. But we think about these every day because DeFi Talent Agency, or just talent agency in general, there's so many different avenues you can go down. So definitely in the works.
Yeah.
And Taylor,
Yep.
I do have something to say because I know I can tell you have that artistic vibe and vibration. Not only that, Rob knows Tony Price. He did stuff for like Wale. He's a producer and stuff like that. I'm already in talks with him. And this is somebody that I know personally. So when people say network and marketing, these are the things that we're doing. Actually breaking barriers, actually bringing diversity and inclusion in. Hey guys, we also sponsor the AAU team. Then I get football and crypto have nothing to do, but those youth, those young men that believe in what they want to do, we believe in them too. So that's the reason why we sponsored them, because it's bigger than crypto, guys. Because having Rob come up there, it's not about a testimony. It's the fact that Rob has already been invested in Serenity before he even became an ambassador, and that's the truth. Because that's my brother. You get what I'm saying? People who believe in you believe in what you do. So when I tell you it's your what and it's your why, believe that.
And I agree with you. It's more than crypto. One of our pillars at the DeFi Angels, aside from advocacy and our women's investment network, social equity, but also we've selected charities and given back, and it was around the football season to a school in Florida actually. So I can definitely feel you there. I've also given the potential to create jobs for people in this space is really great feeling in and out as an entrepreneur, right? So I can probably share that kind of emotion with you as well. So, I mean, we speak a lot of the same language in terms of what we do, what we stand for, and I really like that between our groups. So again, just, hats off to you guys for what you're doing, not just in crypto, but outside, right? I think that is something that's really important, and I think that can carry you a long way, especially as you start exploring, outside of just the internet, right? As you guys get in person, maybe potentially at some of these events. Like I've been in one in Vegas. So if you guys are locals there, then, there's crypto events all over the place, and kind of, bringing this to light in some public grounds, right? Like getting those handshakes and seeing people's faces. But the talent you would probably acquire there is massive because 18% of people, I believe, in America at least, are only vested in crypto, leaving a large portion on the table. So that 18%, there's not a lot of traditional jobs out there accommodating people unless you're really a developer, right? So having kind of this segue into the sector for placement, whatever it looks like, again, I see it really scalable, and I'm going to be watching closely, not only on the project, but with the team to see how you navigate through this, because you guys are onto something. You're first to market.
Yep. And just to point out, this, we're not just talking about, bringing people like, creating jobs or bringing women into crypto. Half of our mod team in this call, Stella, Charlotte, Dana, and Rion, these are young women who live in the Philippines. They're great mods. They're hard workers. And they're part of the people that I was mentioning as part of that extended family, not project developer, not a straight up artist, but people that we've met that are hardworking and that can make a living in crypto. This is evolving into much more than just a crypto project. This is evolving into an actual extended family that's international. We have a moderator that lives in Australia. We have a mod from India. Like I mentioned, we have several that are from the Philippines. I'm trying to meet and create something that transcends just crypto and just the US and just, like when Lambo.
And I can't forget Eris. Please, we have to let our HR, our brother, big dog Eris, please, he needs to look, I love this man, and this is what I'm saying. Like, I know most people this is a family. This is what we do on a day-to-day basis. We give each other flowers. We give people flowers because you need to hear it. I can't give you your flowers when you're gone. So while you're right here, I'm gonna give it to you. So DeFi Angels, thank you, because you don't have to. And with the questions that you did, Taylor, thank you, because guess what? There's somebody out there that needed that. They may not, have the energy or have the do so to ask, but you did for them. So thank you. Thank every single individual who's on here right now for giving you your time. That means the most to us. Forget the dollar. Like, I come from a background where my mother had a cloth when she brought me here into the States. It's not about money. It's bigger than that. You have to have a purpose and own that. Serenity is not just about crypto. Own your peace. Look at what we're going through. Look at what people in Ukraine are going through. Don't you think they really need that serenity right now? So is it just crypto to you guys, or is it a lifestyle? Because to me, I live this. I own this.
Well, and to reiterate,
yeah. Go ahead, Onion.
Thank you, Justin Haley, who is an investor in Serenity, who has a very close friend that runs a food bank in Georgia, who is one of our charities, and who personally introduced me to Michael and helped arrange this AMA. And also thank you to the DeFi Angels team and their community. This is a really good, large, critical opportunity for us, and we're very grateful that we were able to come on here and talk to everybody tonight.
And I'm glad that we got to bring a lot of things to light. Like I said at the beginning, it's really organic. We ask the questions and things can get tense, but out of this, like Tambry, you were saying it, my friend, some of the questions that we ask, it brings to light for other people. And that's why, these can be so crucial in the long run. So, we look forward to really, compressing this, putting it together, getting it out there. And then, this can have lasting effects for months to come for folks just to understand what it is that you're offering, right? And again, we're so young in the crypto space. Congrats on being early, seeing the vision and taking advantage of it and just going for it. I can really respect that. And then secondary to that, probably we'll be reaching out offline to connect with you guys a little more and ask some questions.
Taylor, DM me, man. Give me your number. Let me call you. I might do the same thing I do to Will. Call you in the shower. Don't get mad at me. Okay? It's life. It happens. Just pick up. Let's talk.
Oh, sorry, bro. I don't do FaceTimes in the shower. But yeah,
It's
we can.
okay.
I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. We can definitely get on a phone call, my friend. But no, absolutely. And honestly, as well, we're an investment syndicate here. But also, I like to think of our group as a family. Like that's really what we are too. So hearing you guys talk about your community that same way, feel free to leverage us as resources, man. Like if there's something that you guys need or you have a question, like don't hesitate to reach out. But again, the crypto space is so small. It's really prudent for folks to bond together and realize, we're first here. Years to come from now, there's going to be a lot of new players entering the game, and they're going to be big players, right? That wash certain people out, but people like us that have cemented our place and pioneered some of these things, we're the ones that get rewarded. So, looking forward to continuing those conversations, and just want to congratulate you on the AMA, and I'll definitely be following it up. But
you can call me too, Taylor. My phone's open as well. Don't just call Tambar. You can talk to me too.
Right on. Well, yeah.
Hey, Taylor, I was wondering, could I post some sneak peeks of our upcoming NFT that we're doing with the artist from Australia?
Of course, my friend. Drop them in the chat and we'll get them pinned and everything. Feel free.
All right, definitely. I got you.
Awesome. Guys, because I know Rob just went back to have stuff that he's doing with his son and his family because it's his son's birthday tomorrow. So he still has daddy duties as he's doing. He has a series that's coming up. So guys, go follow him, watch him. He just did some stuff with Shaq commercial. Yeah, guys, go follow him.
Yeah, Rob's comedy special is on Amazon. It's called Problematic. If you're interested, go check it out. He's a hilarious comic. He's not just a comedian, but he's also an actor and entertainer and all around smart, awesome, hardworking guy. And we are very excited to have him partnered up with us and helping us promote the project.
Oh, Taylor, I'm sorry. I know you about to be like, I know these guys keep going on, but hey, you said you want AMA. This is what we do, guys. We love to network and meet people. Please, I know I asked for Eris. I just need him to talk and just give Allie a shout out because she's here too. And I know, you know what I'm saying? So Allie, what's up? We know you're in the building. We appreciate you. Please, Eris, this is one person I would just love for him to have because he's been trying to talk for a minute. So if you guys could, Eris, bro, I know you back there. Do your thing, King.
Go ahead, Taylor. Were you going to say something?
No, I'm just going to close this out, but you do the honors, my friend. I'm over here. So go for it. Thanks, guys, for coming on tonight. For real, I'm definitely gonna be in touch. Thank you so much. I loved it. Cheers.
100%, Taylor. Thank you.
Yes.
Serenity Token, thank you guys for coming and spending this time here with us at the DeFi Angels. It was truly a pleasure, and I can't wait for us to connect deeper beyond this AMA. So with that being said, we can go ahead and end the recording and take the next steps.